commentary booth where we watch, and you guessed it, commentate on the week that was in movies and TV. I'm your, occasional counterpart, co-anchor, American train wreck, Corrina Mabey, and I'm joined today by our normal, everyday host who does not lose their shit on camera, Jamie Apps. He lists his favorite TV show currently as Yellowstone, because that's the first thing that came to mind, and his favorite movie currently is Die Hard, because it's a Christmas movie. And that's about as good as it's got so far. How's it going, Jamie?
It was good until we had a 6-minute laughing giggle fit introduction to this episode.
You know what? It's fine. It's okay. We have to laugh. It's cool. How's everything on the opposite side of the world?
It's hot. It's real hot.
Hot? Oh.
It's real hot.
Oh, that's gross. It's cold here. It's like fucking Christmas time almost. Well, it feels like really Christmas. It's nice.
Yeah, that's why it's hot.
Yeah, that explains so much.
It's 10 a.m. and I'm sweaty.
Yeah, and it's 6:20 almost, and it's like, dipping way down again. I don't know what it is in Celsius, but it's like currently like 55 Fahrenheit, and it's going lower. So
no, thank you.
It's cool. It's fine. It's cool. So yeah, today, now that I've had my fucking giggle fit, as you can tell, oh, maybe you can, maybe you can't, Jamie and I are currently on point and theme for today's episode. I'm obviously Team Pink, and Jamie is Team Emerald, aka we are doing a review of Wicked Part 1. So I am obviously Team Glinda, or Glinda, however you want to pronounce her name, because it changes sometimes. And Jamie's Team Elphaba. Because, he's wicked sometimes, I guess. I don't know. Seemed like a good idea at the time. So yeah, we are here to review the first part of this successful movie adaptation of a very beloved 2003 Broadway musical. So before we get deep diving into history, facts, whether we liked it or not, all that other good shit, what is your overall knowledge of Wicked, and what's your first thoughts about it so far?
You're gonna hate me right now.
You hate it.
So, never seen Wicked. Pretty much went into this I knew that it was the story of the Wicked Witch, but that was about it.
Okay.
Also, I don't think I've ever watched all of Wizard of Oz.
Are you human? That's really weird.
I think I've watched like the start of Wizard of Oz. I've watched the tornado bit, and then her landing in Oz, and then that's about it. That's about as far as I got. I don't think I've ever got to the point where they had all 4 people.
So, like, you saw black and white and then grazed the color transition and then just said, okay, I'm done now?
Correct. I think I've maximum watched like 45 minutes.
Oh boy. That's
So yeah, I went into this very unawares. And
actually, that's probably a good thing, I think.
Yeah, I think like it made this a lot more interesting. Like there was a lot of stuff that I didn't pick up on, and obviously there are a lot of like references to Wizard of Oz and the like stage show and stuff. Like there's the obvious things of like the typical pop culture elements and stuff I picked up.
Mm-hmm.
But most of it was just like, oh, this is all new to me, whatever. And I think going into this with zero like nostalgia or like any sort of history with the previous movie and then the stage show, it kind of just was like, eh. Like I didn't love it, I didn't hate it. It was kind of just like, that's a movie.
Okay. It's good because you had like kind of like a non-biased view going into it, whereas I am familiar with the musical. I'm not obsessed with the original movie. It's something I grew up on. Like we always watched it in my house and stuff like that. It was like a part of my childhood, but it's not something I ever like really obsessed over. However, I love the musical. I've never been blessed enough to actually be able to catch it live, just because tickets are outrageous for a lot of Broadway shows. But I listen to the soundtrack all the fucking time. You can ask my kid. It's one of those things that I resonate with. It's such a great Broadway show. So for me, I feel like I had expectations, but there are some people I've seen that are extremely critical of this film because they had such high expectations and they kept comparing it to the Broadway show. So there are some people out there that are extremely disappointed with the movie. But I think that's just because they were expecting like a carbon copy of the stage production, and there were also a lot of people who don't believe that the two lead characters should be played by anybody else, which I think is kind of ridiculous, but that's just me.
Yeah. Like, it was enjoyable. Like, I had a good time watching it. I just didn't have that really solid connection of like, oh god, I need to go and watch this again, like right away. If anything, all this movie made me want to do is go and see the stage show when it next comes to Australia.
Please do. If you have an opportunity to ever see the live production.
Yeah. It didn't make me want to go and watch The Wizard of Oz. It didn't make me want to rewatch this movie right away, but it was like, yeah, if that stage show comes, I'll go and see that. That sounds cool.
Yeah. I'm not a theater kid. I was never actually a drama kid. I was a chorus kid. And so I've seen my fair share of Broadway musicals. And then I have seen my favorite musicals, some of them become movies. And some of them I love, and some of them I'm just like, that's fucking terrible. And so I was kind of skeptical when I first heard about this movie being in production because I didn't want it to be ruined for me. But it wasn't. And I'm really glad that it wasn't.
Yeah, like there were a few things that I like really enjoyed about it, and then there was other parts that like kind of detracted from it overall. Like I thought the set design and majority of the VFX were awesome. I'm glad they used like practical sets rather than just like green screen / blue screen stuff to just make it flat background, so that they actually built these sets and they all looked pretty cool. My one drawback with like the overall visual aesthetic of the movie though, the color grading was a little bit muted for me. Like I feel like I've seen a comparison where someone has like taken stills from the movie and like regraded the colors and just like heightened the contrast and the intensity and like brightened them up a bit, and it looks so much cooler like with the colors like really popping, whereas this, they're kind of dulled down a bit, and I'm like, oh, it kind of just has that kind of film over it, like it's like a tint over the top of it that just dulls everything. I was like, oh, that's a bit disappointing. Like I feel like this movie is supposed to be one that's like hyper realistic, bright, poppy, like over the top, and they kind of pulled it back a bit.
I feel like you're right in that sense with the outfits. I feel like the sets, especially like when they're in Emerald City and stuff like that, I feel like those are extremely bright and eye-catching. Same with like the colors and the forest and stuff like that. But yeah, you are right with like their overall wardrobe and like up close features on the characters. They are not as bright. Like Glinda looks like she has very like muted tones of pink, like very flat kind of. And Elphaba is almost like a flat shade of green. It doesn't really look like she has a lot of depth to her. Which it's, I'll take it for what it is. I mean, I still think that the outfit designs were really cool. I just feel like they didn't come across on camera as bright as pictures I've seen of like the actual costumes being on display and stuff like that. I feel like they're a lot brighter.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like a lot of the like on set like teaser photos and stuff like that, everything is really bright and poppy, and then you see the movie and it's kind of like it's all like the brightness is just turned down and the contrast is turned down, so everything's just like flatter. It's like, oh
yeah,
kind of hype it up, make this movie over the top and crazy with the colors.
Yeah, And I feel like the first one kind of did that because the first, like, or the original, like Wizard of Oz, not the first one, but the original Wizard of Oz, I feel like that was a very big, colorful film for the time it was made. And it was strictly, I think, just because it went from black and white in the beginning to that big pop of color. And we didn't get
Mhm.
that kind of like aha moment, like what you're talking about. So it is kind of disappointing in that sense. But overall, I still think that they did a great job of like embodying the characters and like their different quirks and their style and things like that.
Yeah, and from what I've seen of like people comparing it to the theater show, they've done a good job of like capturing some of the really iconic moments, like the moment where we see Elphaba's hat for the first time, like contrasted with the window. Like
Mhm.
I've seen that that's taken directly from like the stage props and
Mhm.
stage design from the theater show. So like they've done a good job of like pulling some of those really iconic moments from the theater show and putting it
Mhm.
into the film.
Are you a trading card collector or a fan of Australian pro wrestling? If so, you're not going to want to miss out on the limited edition Australian wrestling cards. Each set includes 50 packs of 10 cards, including some of the country's top wrestling talents like Robbie Eagles, Shane Haste, Madison Eagles, Hartley Jackson, and they have Shaza McKenzie listed, although she is not a favorite. The velocities, and a lot more. There's wrestlers, referees, announcers, commentators that are featured, giving you a full appreciation of the Australian independent scene. The cards sold out a lot faster because cards are hot right now, as I'm sure Jeremy Lambert will tell you. But you can order your Australian wrestling cards now at Pario Magazine. That's PARIO magazine.com.au/AUS WRES cards. Follow Australian Wrestling Cards on social media at AusResCards for updates. Join the hundreds of fans who have already discovered the excitement of Australian wrestling cards.
What's up with the Munchkins? Aren't they supposed to be like little people?
They are, and it. I feel like that is kind of a weird thing. Like they didn't either they didn't cast enough dwarf people, or they did a really bad job of like camera angles because they all looked about the same height as Ariana Grande. Granted, she is not a very tall person. However,
Yeah, they all
they're
just look like regular
little.
people. I was like, aren't they supposed to be Munchkins? It's
Yeah,
Munchkin
so it
Land.
is kind of yeah, it is kind of weird because in the original film there was such a high contrast between the regular characters and the Munchkinland people, significantly different. So that is kind of weird, but there's like different sizes and stuff like that, so I appreciate the diversity in that.
I
Like
wonder
they're
if
not
that's
all
like
the same
an
size,
ode
but
to the theater show. Like I imagine in the theater show, they're just dancers.
yeah, I feel like it'd be hard to try and form a troupe that's, true to size in that aspect of things.
Especially for
But
them to only kind of be used in that opening dance number, and
hmm
then
sprinkled
there's like
throughout a little bit.
one or two at a time in other spots. So it's like,
Mhm.
why would we hire, like, especially for a theater show? It's not like you can bring them in for a day and do the scene. Like they have to be full time members of the cast, and then they really only do one scene and then they're out.
Yeah, and honestly, there's only one main character, and he's not even like a real main character. He's just like one of those like supporting characters is Bach, and he's the only Munchkin that's like throughout the whole set essentially. And it's like you said, like it would be really hard for them to try and like take that and put that on stage and spend all that money if
Yeah,
it's just for like one or two scenes.
yeah,
So yeah,
yeah. Like a
that's kind of
movie, it's fine. Like you bring them in for one scene, one day.
hmm
You film that opening sequence, and then you've
yeah.
really only got to have the one guy on a full time contract.
Yeah, but I feel like they did in this film what they do in a lot of musicals, is that they use these same backup dancers for every scene, and they're just in different costumes. Happened in
Hmm.
Mamma Mia is like the first thing that pops into my head is like all those supporting background dancers were the same ones throughout the whole film. So
Yeah.
that's always fun to see, though.
And on that note, I thought the ensemble cast was awesome. Like
Yes,
a lot of
absolutely.
the ensemble, like the group harmonies, I
Hmm.
thought they were like the highlight for the singing for me. And then like the blocking and the dancing that they did was all pulled from the theater show as well, and I thought that was really cool as well. They did a great job with particularly that Emerald City dance number. That's
Hmm.
great. That is so cool.
hmm Yeah, that is a fantastic scene, and also Dancing Through Life is getting a ton of praise for that entire dance sequence between the library and the Ozdas
Oh yeah,
ballroom scene.
yeah, that's cool.
Um, that was fantastic. I love everything about that whole sequence. It's one of my favorite songs in this entire production, anyway. But yeah, so
Yeah,
yeah, we
that
see
library with the rotating like
rotating things.
shelves, that was
Oh, that was so
oh,
cool.
that
It
was
was
so
so
well like
fun.
choreographed and designed. So cool.
Yeah, it was I looked at Chloe and I go, "Yo, that's a library." And she goes, "I'd be so dizzy trying to find a damn book." And I go, "Yeah, imagine
hmm
dancing in it." Like,
hmm
it'd be
Yeah,
so cool.
guys, there's a guy like just spinning upside down. Like, oh Jesus.
Yeah. So yeah, we there's this movie was fantastic. So to dive into a little bit more, we see Cynthia Erivo. That's how you say her last name. I always fuck it up. But she is Elphaba. She's she's kind of fairly new to like the world of movie, I guess, if you want to call it. She's been in theater for a long time. And I will say, as a side note, almost everyone in this main cast is of theater background or musical
hmm
background, which I really appreciate versus grabbing people that are just random actors that you notice and throwing them into a musical.
Yeah,
So praise to
yeah.
that.
They picked actual people that could sing because like
Yes,
the two leads, Ariana and Cynthia,
Cynthia. Mm-hmm.
they insisted on singing live during
Yes,
taping. There was none of
it's
the, oh, we'll just dance and mouth it and then
overthrow
we'll
it.
overdub it later. They
Mm-hmm.
insisted on singing live, and even John Emchie was like, I don't know how that's gonna sound. And then
Mm-hmm.
it sounded pretty. I wasn't a huge fan of Ariana Grande singing. I felt like she was
Okay.
trying way too hard and doing way too much.
But wait, hold on. Wait, we don't like the hair flip.
The hair flip was fun. It was the really high pitched and like too many like vocal tricks. I was like, okay, just Ariana, just pump the goddamn brakes. Like, simplify it.
Yeah, so I feel like there's a lot of pressure on both of these girls because they have such big shoes to fill. Um, so Kristen Chenoweth, for most people, is and always will be the ultimate Glinda. Just because she is tiny, she is loud, and she has operatic training. She has an opera voice. Ariana Grande does not have an operatic voice. Um, So there are sequences and notes that she hits that I do feel she struggled with a little bit, maybe, or probably pushed herself a little too much to the edge to where it kind of sounded a little too much. Um, but overall,
She did
I was still really
the
happy
J
with
Lo
her.
thing with all of the like vocal like
Yeah, the bouncing,
I'm like, just grating,
but
grating.
Cynthia was fantastic. I think she filled the shoes of Idina Menzel absolutely beautifully.
Mhm.
There's been so much praise for her. Defying Gravity is and always is this has been like the staple song of this movie, and she knocked it out of the ballpark for me. Um, like I said, it's a big fucking role to fill, and I think she did phenomenal in it. But that's just my opinion, and I'm not very like I'm not classically trained or anything like that, so I can't pick her apart. But I know what I like, and I cried twice in this movie just for everybody's knowledge. I'm a grown ass woman, and I cried twice watching this movie, and I don't cry during movies very often, but they did that. They put so much emotion into this movie, both of them, and
I
it
have
comes
no
through.
idea what part you would have cried at.
I cried in Dancing Through Life when Alphaba comes in and does her dance by herself and kind of gets like ridiculed. Because for me that is like that happens to so many people like in school and stuff like that. Like you're just different and you get bullied and it's kind of like that Carrie moment where everybody's like, "Oh yeah, we really like you," and then they traumatize her. So that's
Mhm.
what it kind of felt like. So you feel that emotion and the connection that they ended up having from that was really deep and it was really great. And then yeah, like when Cynthia hit the notes in Defying Gravity, I fucking cried because she was fantastic. Like she gave me chills. So
Yep.
that's me being a nerd.
Um, yeah, that ballroom scene, that is like the moment where Glinda finally becomes likable.
Kind
The
of.
whole time I was watching this, I was like, what the fuck? I hate this character. Aren't I supposed to like this character? Isn't she the hero of Wizard of Oz?
Kind of, sort of, but she's a jerk. Like, if you think about it, Glinda the Good is not she's not a good witch. She's just good is her whole title. Like, she is not Glinda the Good Witch. She's just Glinda the Good. And versus
Yeah,
Elphaba being the Wicked Witch of the West. And
I'm watching
so,
it just being like, this is like your typical spoiled brat mean girl. And I'm just sitting there going, are we not supposed to like this character? Like, isn't this supposed to be a hero from the Wizard of Oz? I'm like, I'm so confused right now. Why do I hate this character so much? And then
mhm,
like some of her lines around like, oh, I don't see colors. I'm like, oh my God, this is so heavy handed on like trying to push across the acceptance and like
mhm,
anti-racism angle. I was like, oh my goodness, this is so bad. But I was also,
mhm.
I also wrote down one of my notes was Glinda would definitely be Marga.
Probably.
I was like,
More than
she's
likely. At
so
least in the
MAGA right
beginning.
now. I was
Yeah,
like, holy shit.
like, oh, all right, parents, they're gonna miss me so much. Like, what? And like,
Yeah.
oh, I don't want to intrude and overthrow your moment, but yeah, sure, I'll come. Let's go. Um, those kind of
Yeah.
things. But yeah, no, that whole sequence was fantastic. Like, that is where you get to see a different side of Glinda, instead of just
Yeah.
for
I was fine. Like,
show.
oh, okay. She's actually kind of nice.
Mm-hmm.
About time.
Yeah. So yeah, I gotta give props to Jonathan Bailey. I didn't know that man could sing and dance like that. I just knew him from Bridgerton because I was on a Bridgerton
Because
train
of
for like the
course you
first
do.
two seasons.
Oh, God.
Yeah, after the second season, I dropped off of Bridgerton, but yeah,
Did
I
they
did not
turn
know
back
that was him.
the scenes for you? They took away all the good bits.
No, it was just not. I fell off. I was like, this is boring now. Like, I can't get on board with the Bridgerton girlies. I'm sorry. Like, if I get all the hate for it, it's just not my jam anymore. I got bigger and better things to do. But yeah, he was phenomenal. His choreography dances were great. I thought he had a pretty decent voice. Better than some male leads that I've seen in musicals. No shade to Pierce
He was,
Brosnan and Mamma Mia, but that was fucking god awful.
yeah, he was my second favorite of the cast.
Yes. Um,
Um,
he's
did you see
fantastic.
some of the actors and actresses who auditioned for each of these roles?
Yeah, so I saw Amanda Seyfried, who was from Mamma Mia. She auditioned to be Glinda, and
Hmm.
like, no offense to her, I think she's too old to do that role. She's great. Like, she was good in Mamma Mia, but that was also like, I don't know, 15 years ago, more than 15 years ago.
Yeah, well, she was in
Um,
Mean Girls in 2004. So
yeah. So I saw that, and then I saw that two of the Jonas Brothers tried out for Fiero, and
mhm.
I think that would be really strange to see like a fucking Jonas Brother on screen. Like, I'm glad that they didn't go that route because I probably would have skipped.
Yeah.
So I'm mad.
So I've got like a list for Elphaba. We had some pretty big hitters uh, audition for this role. We had Lady Gaga, Nicole Scherzinger from the Pussycat Dolls,
Mm-hmm.
Jessie J, Anna Kendrick, Kristen Milioti. That would have been a big switch up from the Penguin.
Mm,
Uh, Leah Michelle from Glee.
mm-hmm.
So like some pretty big names that got passed over for what we went with.
I would have been
Uh,
happy with Jessie J. Shit, I hadn't seen her in a minute. But
and
it
then
would
for
have been really weird.
yeah, and then for Glinda we had Amy Adams from Enchanted, Arrival,
Mm-hmm.
Talladega Nights.
I'm not gonna
Amanda
entertain you.
Seyfried, Anne Hathaway, Katy Perry. I think
No,
Katy Perry
thank
would have
you.
been pretty cool.
No, thank you.
Uh, Lily Reinhart, Dove Cameron, Renee Rapp, who was in Mean Girls 2024, Stephanie Shu, Ashley Park, Brittany Johnson. Pretty good ones. Ariana was fine.
I liked Ariana for the
Her
sheer fact
acting
that,
was
like,
cool. Her singing just did
yeah,
not do anything for me.
I feel like, I don't know, she's been so diehard with Wicked, and like Kristen Chenoweth kind of took her under her wing as like a protege slash mentor mentee kind of thing. So I feel like she did earn it for that matter. Whether she perfected it or not, I don't think anybody really can step in the shoes of Kristen Chenoweth as fucking Glinda because she's just like made for that fucking role.
Yeah, I'm glad we
yeah.
didn't go with Anne Hathaway because I don't know how
No,
great
after Les
Anne
Mis, no
Hathaway
thank
can
you.
sing.
Like I love Les Mis, but I do not like the movie Les Mis. That was fucking trash to me. I'm sorry. That was really bad.
And then for Fiyero, we had Harry Styles, Shawn Mendes, Joe and Nick Jonas, and Charlie Puth. So 5 guys that can actually sing pretty well and like are known as singers, not necessarily as actors. So that could have been cool. But he doesn't really have a huge amount of singing in this. So Jonathan Bailey was a good choice.
Yeah, he's more of like just like
it's
a
more of an
supporting
actor's role than a singer's role in that one.
Yeah. He's like that supporting guy who just fills in every now and then. And yeah, I think that was a really wise choice. I think if they had done like a Jonas brother in there, as it was when they first announced Ariana Grande in this role, I kind of thought she was just going to overshadow the entire movie by being herself, with such a name like that. But I don't think that happened. I think
like if you drop Harry Styles into the Fiyero role, like
forget it.
He becomes a major character. He's not a side character anymore. Like you have to try and focus on him a bit more.
Yeah, so I think they were really smart with that. Jeff Goldblum as the wizard, it's perfect. He looks like a fucking psycho wizard. He popped on
and
the
it's
screen.
It's just Jeff Goldblum being Jeff Goldblum again.
Yeah, Chloe looked at me and she goes, Jurassic Park? I was like, yeah, apparently we're going to see some raptors in here eventually. But
did you see the 2 actors that auditioned for that role?
No, I did not see that. I kind of was just when I saw Jeff Goldblum's name, I was like, I don't care about anybody else who auditioned for that. It's him.
Yeah, we had Steve Martin and Bryan Cranston.
I don't like either of those personally. Bryan Cranston maybe, but again,
Bryan Cranston would have been cool, but Jeff Goldblum was the absolute perfect choice.
Absolutely. He was fantastic. I think the only person, and I hate to say this, the only person I really did not care for in this entire movie was Michelle Yeoh. And I love her. I just don't like her in this movie. She played the character really well, but her singing voice in this movie was kind of like she was struggling with it. And I don't know if that's just because like she has such a heavy accent, like when she says certain words, or if it was just she was having a day. I don't know, but I wasn't really thrilled with her singing in this. Granted, it wasn't very much, but
that's fair. You probably wouldn't have liked the other choices they had.
Yeah, who were the other choices for Miss Madame Morrible?
Jennifer Lopez. I knew you wouldn't like that one. And Hannah Waddingham from Game of Thrones, the Shame Lady.
Oh.
And also Ted Lasso.
She might have been okay, but like...
And I'm pretty certain she has a theatre background, so she probably would have been pretty solid in that role.
Yeah. I feel like, I don't know how her name even got put into this and how she got picked for that role. Like, I don't know that conversation that happened, but it was a very strange mix-up to throw her in there. Other than the fact that like she's just a really well-known actress and does a lot of good things. And then my last little nod, aside from what's her name, Marissa Bode, who played Nessa, she was great. Again, she's one of those side characters, but she did really good. You know, you're gonna probably I'm not gonna say anything. She was cool. She was all right. You know, she doesn't really have a big role in this.
Yeah, she's just a side character, like, kind of to help like push the story along. And my main takeaway from her role is I'm so glad they actually cast someone who's disabled in a disabled role, not just like, oh, let's put someone famous in, sit him in a wheelchair for 2 hours.
Yeah, I was gonna say that I really do appreciate when they actually are able to cast people who have the disabilities that are portrayed in the film or in like anything for that matter, just because it doesn't feel pushed or forced or anything like that. So it is really nice to see that they are trying to be more inclusive in that sense versus like, back in like the 80s and 90s when things were coming and going so quickly and like, budget was kind of tight. They'd just be like, "Oh yeah, we'll cast whoever," and just like put him in a wheelchair and say, "Hey, don't fucking move your legs."
Yep. Yeah, so I'm glad they actually put someone in there
And
correctly. And
then
on the Jeff
I
Goldblum performance, I got big Willy Wonka vibes from him as
yes,
well. I was like,
yeah,
is this character inspired by Willy Wonka? Like, it has to be.
yeah, it gives a lot of those vibes. To be fair, like even in the original Wizard of Oz movie, the wizard also gave off those kind of vibes, just not in such an elaborate sense. Um, but yeah, he was also kind of like, you know, over the top a little bit and tricking people and persuading them and stuff. Um, so yeah, it was kind of interesting to see how they kind of made it even more so in this one. Um,
Also, question.
mhm. Yeah,
Is the wizard Elphaba's dad?
I don't know. What do you think?
I feel like they were teasing that.
Do you think so?
Yes.
I mean, it's the Emerald City, and she is green, and the voice in the beginning when the man is seducing her mom sounds a little bit like Jeff Goldblum's voice, maybe. And she definitely has like a little elixir bottle that she gives Elphaba, and it's in a green bottle, so and
Yeah, maybe.
I don't
The thing that like wigged me out was like, oh yeah, he has to be her dad. Like that's how she ended up with her powers. And then they're like, oh no, he doesn't have any powers. I'm like, what the fuck?
know.
That made me
Makes you
start
wonder.
questioning. I was like, wait, maybe a second. Wait, hang on.
Yeah, maybe. Um, I like how you're just like, wait a second, is that her dad? Like, where's Mari when we need him? Like, lie detector, all that other good shit. um, I also forgot that Peter Dinklage was voicing a character in this movie until the goat appeared on screen. I remember seeing a movie poster for it, and I was like, oh shit, Peter Dinklage, and I totally forgot about it until he came on screen and started talking, and I was like, oh shit, Tyrion?
I didn't even clock onto his voice, but I thought the performance was great. Like to be able to get through and portray that emotion with literally just a voice. Like there's not even like
Hmm.
facial animation capture. It's like it's a
Right.
goat. Like
Yeah.
you can't motion capture someone's face and put that on a goat. Like it's literally all only voice, and you somehow still feel really bad for that Professor Goat.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And that was the beauty of this movie, I think, is that you do feel kind of like an emotional connection to some of the animals that are being affected. You see their little secret meeting and stuff like that. You see the unfortunate caged little baby lion tiger cub. Um, and that was really emotional too. They did a really good job of like portraying and getting across the whole reasoning behind Alphaba, you know, wanting to do something good, aside from just like making people less afraid of her.
Mhm. Like that whole animal, basically racism angle of like we don't want animals to have any say and power and stuff. I was watching that and I'm like, is this movie like inspired by Nazi Germany? Like, was Wizard of Oz an
Yes.
allegory for Nazi Germany? Like, because it feels like the wizard is basically Hitler,
Hmm.
or maybe slightly more modern era Trump. It's like this false prophet who really isn't able to follow through on his promises and kind of hates anybody different, like
Right.
the animals that, even though like they might be great teachers and stuff like that, he just doesn't want them having any say. It felt like sort of an allusion to this kind of critical race theory crap that's going on in the world at the moment, and the propaganda and the fake news stuff. Like when Elphaba like tosses that bench
Hmm.
at the school and smashes the thing of the wizard and reveals all the animals if they're like being hidden away and stuff. I was like, this is definitely like that whole
Yes.
Nazi Germany, get rid of anybody that's
Yeah,
not
it is. They do touch part on that, and I
white
kind
and
of
blonde.
appreciate that because there's so much of it going on, and like I know a lot of movies end up becoming political and stuff, but to be fair, like this was based on a play way before political bullshit happened, so they're kind of just still just doing theater shit. um,
Like it's a very obvious angle for the storyline, but it's not. I don't think it becomes like overly preachy. Like it's definitely trying to get that message
mhm,
across of like, don't be a crazy narcissist, don't be a crazy
right.
racist, but like it's
Mhm,
not ramming it down your throat too horribly. It's like this is just a story we're telling. Like
right.
we're not
Yep.
saying, oh, this is bad. Like we're just
I
kind of pointing out
appreciate
that
that
like
there was like the little
look what they're
nods to the
doing. Like
movie
that's
in
kind of
this,
fucked up.
the original movie in this film. So in the beginning, like you see Dorothy and the three counterparts going down the Yellow Brick Road. Um, yep, you see Nessa. Well, you don't see Nessa. Sorry. You see Elphaba
I did see
and
that one.
Glinda when they're in the room and they're doing Popular. She throws ruby slippers. Um, so those are featured. And then because you haven't gotten that far in the Wizard of Oz ever, um, when the man jumps out at the top and says the wizard will see you now, that is literally almost the exact same sequence as the original Wizard of Oz was done. The guy looks almost identical to him. It's really, really cool, actually. So I appreciated that. Um, yeah, and then, yeah, did you see the evolution of the
I loved the
flying monkey
explanation for the monkeys
that
having
she is
wings.
known for? Yeah,
I'm,
it's kind of sad when you see
I'm
how
glad they
they
explained
came
that.
to be. Um, and then, you wonder why and how she gets to the point where they actually do her bidding versus the wizard's bidding after a while. So, I loved that. I love that
Hmm.
you didn't tell me anything about this movie. Even though I begged and pleaded with you to tell me things, you would not. I'm glad you didn't because yes, Idina Menzel and Christian Chenoweth make an appearance, and I'm very, very happy for that. Um, I was literally like in shock, and Chloe
Hmm.
goes, "Holy shit!" And I was like, "Yep, uh-huh, holy shit." She was like, "That's them." Hmm.
Also, the Elphaba from the
Hmm.
stage show
It's
Alice
fantastic,
Fern
right?
is Glinda's mother in this as well. So it's kind of cool that they brought those people
Yes.
in. The title
Hmm.
card that
I
says
love it. He's so
Wicked
old
Part
fashioned
1
looking.
is the same typeface as Wizard of Oz. That was cool. Uh, yeah. But
Don't
the
match.
funny part is like this is
Nope.
like one of those movies where
Nope. Also,
the
I love
poster
that
and the title
Universal
card
Pictures did the
don't
whole
match
black
at
and
all.
white
Not even
introduction
close.
of their like thing. I loved that. That was really great. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
The Universal logo. Also, the title card does say Part 1, even though none of the marketing material, like they promoted it like at the start. They're like, oh, we're going to do Wicked Part 1 and Part 2. And then like once the machine got rolling to get this movie
Yep.
hyped up and ready to come out, they just dropped the Part 1 bit. They were just like, oh, it's Wicked. And I was like, have they recut this so it's just one movie? It's not going to be two now? And then went in there and
Yeah.
immediately they're
And
like, oh,
there,
here's the title card. It says Wicked Part 1. You're like, okay, nope, it's still
yeah.
split into.
There's a lot of people who don't know how
I
they're
don't know
going
what
to actually pull
that from the
off part
previous marketing
two.
though.
With it being that this movie has like over a 2 hour runtime. Like they obviously when you're doing a movie versus like a stage adaptation, you obviously have that time frame to do more in it, and explain like a little bit more of the characters and show more of the backstory and this and that. But there are people who are skeptical as to how well done the second part is going to be, or if it's going to be rushed and how long it's going to be. Um, I don't care either way. I'm going to see it.
In the stage show, are the two halves about the same length? Whereas like Because like Hamilton, the
So
second
I don't
half,
know
like
because I've never seen it live.
post-intermission, is
I only listened to the soundtrack,
quite a
and the
bit
soundtrack
shorter
does
than
not
the
cut
first half.
off for part one versus part two. But you can tell that Defying Gravity is the end of part one just because of how crazy and intense it is. Yeah. So I honestly don't know. The soundtrack itself is
Yeah,
extremely
what
long,
happens
but I love
post?
it. So I don't really know how to gauge it, how long it is on stage, since I've never been blessed enough to see it. Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be interesting because yeah, like I can see why they split it into two though, because like there's a lot happens in this first half. Like if they cut out big chunks of that
Hmm.
to get it down to
Yeah.
half of what this is, really, like you would have to be half of this length, and then you could have the same for the next
It would
one
have been,
to make it one movie. It would have been
yeah.
really rushed.
Um,
So it's probably a good thing that they split it into two.
Fuck no. Absolutely not. Don't say that. Don't speak
If
that. This
anything,
is
they probably should have
fantastic
done a
discussion.
series, not
Shut-
movies.
no. I would have been so mad. Yeah,
It would have
and
taken
this
of like
movie already went through production
rewriting and
hell as far as
reworking to
timelines are
make it
concerned.
into a
It
series.
was
But
rumored back in like 2018. It was shelved again. It was supposed to come back around in 2020, then COVID hit. So this movie's been talked about and wanting to come out for a long fucking time, and then it was just delayed and delayed and delayed. Um, so yeah, I'm glad they didn't do a series. I'm glad that it just came out the way it did. You don't like the
on the writing part,
Oz
I
way of
hate some of
speaking?
the
Were you
words
not
that they use in
Glindified
this
and
as well.
understand it?
No, no, like pronunciation and horrendable. Every time they said stuff like that, I was
Horrendable.
like,
But it
that's
sounds
not a
so
word.
fun. Like when you
That's
say
not
certain
English.
words, it just sounds fun. No, you don't think so? Oh, you're such a lame ass. Lame sauce.
No,
Whatever, it's
I hated,
fine.
I hated
Um,
all of those bits.
so uh,
And the other note
mhm.
I had was up until the one short day
Kids
sequence,
sees green.
nobody wears green. I thought that was
Hmm.
really cool. There's not a single person that wears green up until
Right,
then.
which is interesting. There's
And then you
there's
see
another
pretty much everyone in the Emerald City wearing green.
You spoke about marketing. Stop that. You spoke about
At least they're
marketing.
not wearing red hats.
So do we want to address the controversy that came out after this movie started getting their merchandise? There's two different controversies. So
Post,
yeah, so
the
there were
action
controversies about the
figured
poster that came out,
boxes, and then the
because
poster.
they had the movie poster with Glinda whispering into Elphaba's ear, and it was face on with Cynthia Erivo, but fans decided to take it upon themselves to make it look more like the theatrical Broadway poster and covered her face, and that did not go over very well online or with her. Yes. So the one where they covered her face was the fan made.
Oh, was that a fan made
I
one?
guess it was done with like AI and Photoshop and stuff like that. They were doing that and said that it should look like this. And then Cynthia stated that she was not very pleased and less or more words. Um, so yeah. So there's that.
Yeah,
And
that comes off as majorly racist.
yeah.
Because
So I mean,
I would imagine they
yeah,
would not
theater
have
nerds are going to
said
be
that if
nerdy
she
and be
was a
like, "Oh,
white
that doesn't
actress.
look like the the theatrical poster." Well, it's not it's not the Broadway show. It's a fucking movie. Um, and then
It's
Mattel,
not the
being Mattel, released
yeah.
the dolls for Wicked, featuring Glinda and Elphaba. And someone did a big uh-oh and probably got fucking fired. Um, so
Oh,
these
100%.
dolls had a link
100%
to
someone got
what was
fired. That
supposed to
graphic
be
designer is
the
no
movie's
longer working there.
website, and instead it was linked to wicked.com, which is an adult website. Good on you.
Like, I get that it's an easy mistake. how that got through the chain of like all of the people that would have had to sign off on those boxes.
Can anybody
and
check this
the
website to make sure
designs
it
and
works?
everything.
Like,
And nobody went, that's not our website. Our website's wicked.
yeah.
Not even like they know what they know their own website is wickedmovie.com. Not just straight wicked. And like, but then
No,
I
because
also
if the
hate when
domain's already
stuff
owned, good
does
luck
that,
getting
but
rid of that.
I guess there's no way around that really. Because yeah, they're not going to sell it to you. They're going to, if you want them to sell it to you, they're going to charge you an exorbitant.
I was gonna say, do you
rate
imagine how
because
many
they're
clicks
making
happened for that website in
buttload of
addition
money
that they're
off that
already
website
having
already,
traffic?
so-
Probably like all the
Yeah.
additional traffic. That's probably what was like the red flag, aside from people being like, excuse me, I went on this website with my child.
Yeah, but also like, to be fair,
Yeah.
if a parent is complaining about that, they need to like calm their farm,
That.
because it would have popped up with it. It's not going to go straight to, oh look, here's full frontal
Yep.
stuff. It would have just been like, are you 18? It would have had the warning window that popped up first, so no parent is going on there and be like, oh, here we go, kids. We'll sit down on the computer and we'll go
What?
to the Wicked website, and then it goes, are you 18?
Yeah.
They're not going to be like, oh yeah, yes.
Yeah.
Like a kid might, but if the parent is
I
there
really
with
wish
them,
I'd had a.
no. So
I wish
chill,
I'd had the extra
people,
money to
chill.
go and buy one of those.
It's a
Oh yeah, for
major
real. But
mistake.
yeah, I wish I had
Chill
been
out.
able to buy one of those dolls.
That person definitely got fired, no
From what
matter
I
what.
understand, yeah, they were pulling them off the shelves the moment it was found out about. Like,
Did they pull
they
all
were
those off the
trying their hardest
shelves?
to pull them off. But yeah, I'm sure that if you find one, still in production or
wow.
on the shelf, ooh,
If yeah,
abs-
if you one
Yeah.
of those and keep it in
so yeah,
mint condition, it's going to be worth a lot
this
because
movie
of
only
that
just
printing
came
error.
out. There's not like a ton of numbers on it right now, but currently it's standing at $164 million globally, and it only had a $150 million budget. Yeah, so it had a $150 million budget, and now it's up to
Oh wow, it went
164.
up since I last checked.
And this
Jesus.
was slated for release on multiple days. So originally it was December 20th, then the 22nd, and then Christmas Day. And then that got scrapped to my birthday, and then that got scrapped. So I was really excited for this to come out, and then finding out it was coming out on my birthday, I was even more excited. And then Moana 2 had to be announced, and I was like, you motherfucker. So yeah, this
I get why they shifted those. You don't
correct.
want
So instead they bumped it up to this
two
week when
big sort of
Gladiator 2 was coming
kid-friendly
out.
musicals to hit on the same day.
I thought it was coming out this week over here. I might be
Gladiator
wrong.
came out last week or 2 weeks ago, didn't it?
I don't know. Regardless, they scrapped it, and I was like, yeah, whatever.
Maybe. I'm still stunned by that box office number, because last I looked at it
Yeah, I looked like a
this
couple
morning
hours
and it was
ago, and it jumped again.
114. So you must have
Not
looked
bad
at
for
it after me and
$150.
jumped again.
$150 million budget, and you already broke that your opening weekend.
That's
And those aren't the
insane.
final numbers for this weekend, so that's a good bump there.
Yeah. Like,
Correct.
they do say you need to make double your budget
Yeah.
to make profit.
Well,
So,
that, and also they are going to re-release
like,
this movie
they're about
on
halfway
Christmas
there,
as
which
a
is pretty
sing-along
wild.
variant, because they have had they've had signs posted everywhere. Please don't fucking sing.
Of course they are.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've had a lot of people be like, hey, shut the fuck up. Don't sing in here. People want to watch the movie. They don't want to listen to
Right. Now, I will say I was blessed.
Betty from
Nobody
down
in my
the
fucking
street
theater sang.
living
Nobody
out her
we all
theater
clapped at the
fantasies.
fucking end. That's what that was. And I was grateful that nobody goddamn sang, because I probably would have thrown something at somebody. But yeah, they are going to re-release it Christmas Day for that purpose alone. So if they don't,
Mhm.
hit the numbers, which I highly doubt they're not going to hit numbers now, there'll be round 2 coming up. Oh, did you?
The last couple of things I wanted to say is I spoiled some bits for me,
Spoiled some
for
bits.
myself, in researching.
Oh, did
I
you?
found out who Fierro, Bach,
Do you want to share
and
with the
that
class, or do you
Lion
want to
Cub
keep that for
go
yourself?
on to become. So, spoilers for everyone. Fiyero goes on to become the Scarecrow, and they tease that in this when he doesn't
You
get
wouldn't know.
poisoned by the poppies. Which,
It's just
also,
a sleeping aid. It's fine. No, it's like pumping
did
it
they
in a
just
fucking
poison
Xanax
the
or an
whole
Ambien.
class with
It's
heroin?
fine. Don't worry about it. Yeah. Don't go
I
there,
don't know.
okay?
Heroin's made from poppy seeds.
Why you gotta go like that?
They just let the whole class chase the dragon. And then Bok goes on to become the Tin Man, and they had a little teaser for that part as well.
Yep.
When Glinda puts his red handkerchief back on where his heart's supposed to be.
Yep.
And then obviously the Lion Cub goes on to become the Cowardly Lion. And I saw one thing, people were like, oh, that's the same bike that Dorothy rides in Wizard of Oz. I'm like, no, it's fucking not. Like,
It's not
the
the
basket
same.
is totally different. Like, it's set up the same, but it's not the exact bike. Like, if they were going to do that, they would have recreated the basket and not just went, oh, just get a random basket.
And the other one is like a thick woven.
Because like the basket in this one is like the thin wicker.
Yep.
And in that, the other one, it's like the big thick strips. So, yeah. I kind of wish I hadn't spoiled that for myself. I got the Lion Cub one. I had no idea about Bok and Fiyero though. It does make sense. When I read it, I was like, that does make a lot of sense. Because even Beck, who came to the preview with me, she was like, they teased a lot of stuff in there. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
I guess.
That's okay.
I don't know. I ain't never seen Wizard of Oz. And she just looked at me like, what?
You gotta appreciate it. You've gotta appreciate it because it was so cool for this moment.
Okay. We can maybe do that before Wicked.
No, because we'd have to wait a whole fucking year and you'll forget about this conversation.
We should watch it after Wicked Part 2.
Stop it. Ay, Dios mío.
But that's when the timeline is. That's when you've got to watch it in timeline order. So Wicked Part 2
November 21st.
is currently scheduled for release.
Yep.
Basically exactly a year from now. November 21, 2025. Which, weird. Why are they waiting an entire year? Didn't they film these concurrently?
The second part completely. Yeah, well, people understand. Maybe they'll bump it up.
I'm pretty sure they did. I'm pretty sure they filmed them all at once. So, like...
Well, like, I mean, it's going to probably depend on if Universal has a bunch of shit coming out or not.
Just after Christmas. Wait till... I would imagine what they want to do is let this run for as long as possible. Like, this can run in cinemas until after New Year, basically, at this point. Run it through the entire holidays, get as much box office money as you can. And then early next year, like mid-January, early February, you do the home on-demand release with the rent or buy option. Give that a good couple of months to take as much money from that. And then you go and chuck it on a Netflix or a Disney or an Amazon or something and take the streaming payday, give it 2 or 3 months, let people like have an opportunity to watch it and get connected with it, and then be like, oh yeah, now here's the next.
Yeah, but like Universal's having
imagine
so much
that
stuff
they're
come out
thinking
next
with
year,
the year gap.
Sonic, I don't even remember when Sonic's coming out. Sonic was teased. We saw a trailer for Sonic. Minecraft is coming out. And then the biggest thing that they have writing right now that I saw was How to Train Your Dragon. And so it is, but they're still going to have a lot of stuff that's going to probably be coming out. And also Universal's opening up a brand new theme park. So I feel like there's so much going on in the earlier parts of the year / middle of the year that they don't want to overwhelm everything and oversaturate probably.
There's no
Wicked
or Wizard of Oz.
There isn't actually at all. There used to be. So, fun fact, because you've been to the park now, but you have never been to that. So over at Hollywood Studios, where when we went to Disney, the theater, the Chinese theater, used to have a ride called the Great Movie Ride in it, and there was an entire Wizard of Oz sequence in that whole ride, where the Wicked Witch came out and cursed everybody on the ride, and there was the Yellow Brick Road and the Ton of Munchkins and shit like that. That was really cool, but that's the only time I've ever seen Wizard of Oz mentioned in any theme park. Although I think there is one somewhere, like there's like a Wizard of Oz land in one of the theme parks somewhere, just not over here. uh, well, I don't even think it's in the States. I thought it
I
was
wonder if
at,
it's Hollywood,
I don't know, one of your
Universal
parks over there,
Hollywood, maybe.
Dreamland or Movie World or something. I don't know. Beats me. I remember looking at something and I was like, oh, cool, Dorothy. So yeah. There we go. See, I knew what I was talking about. I research things.
Oh, yeah, it is. It's at Movie World. Huh. The Wizard of
You
Oz
learn something new every
at
day.
Warner Brothers Movie World.
Oh.
Huh.
Okay. Well, still,
Who knew?
regardless, yeah.
It's coming soon. It hasn't opened yet. That's why I didn't know about it. 2 family-friendly roller coasters and the most incredible scenes from the classic film brought to life before your eyes. Embark on a wicked adventure aboard the Flight of the Wizard of the Wicked Witch
So you
and
can
experience
experience
ultimate
part of
twists and
Wizard of
turns
Oz when
on
that opens
Kansas
up at
Twister.
Movie World.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, wonder when that's opening. They don't say.
Yeah, I'll take it. It'll be cool.
Next time you're at it, we
also,
will potentially have to go to that.
Oh, well, it's already late this year. It's almost December.
It's apparently opening late this year. Yeah, it'll probably, if it's going to open this year, it'll probably wait until
There we go.
the next like Christmas school holidays if they're going to do it this year.
That's very, very cool.
But yeah,
let's check
that's
on it.
kind of cool.
There you go.
Something to look out for at Movie World. There is some cool stuff at Movie World.
Yes.
You've got the Flash, the Speed Force coaster, which looks hectic as all hell. The Wizard of Oz land looks pretty cool. It's
That's
got
pretty
like
cool.
Dorothy's barn and then the Emerald City's in the back.
Hopefully it's better than the Ryan Reynolds
You've
movie.
The Green Lantern coaster, the DC Rivals Hyper coaster that has like a giant LED Joker, the Flight of the Wicked Witch, Kansas Twister, the Superman Escape Ride. That's pretty awesome. I've been on that one. The Batwing Space Shut, the Roadrunner roller coaster, the Star Parade. That's just like a parade that goes through the middle of Main Street with all of the characters and stuff. A 4D film theater.
Good. I need to go to Movie World.
That plays like Tom and Jerry and stuff like that. The Justice League 3D ride.
Yep, I know.
Wild West Falls. That is awesome. Marvin the Martian Cosmic Boom. It's like a little kids version of Tower of Terror. Hollywood Stunt Driver. That used to be Police Academy.
Oh, fun.
So that was fun. The Looney Tunes Carousel.
I'll go on all the fucking rides. I don't care. Sign me up, all of them.
Yosemite Sam's Railroad. All of the meet and greets with like all of the Looney Tunes characters and stuff like that.
Fuck yes. Okay, yeah.
The Batmobile. They're opening a Doomsday Destroyer thrill ride. It says thrill level max. And then the Scooby-Doo Spooky Coaster is currently under maintenance.
Oh, that's cool though.
Yeah.
See,
Movie World's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I have reason to come and see Movie World.
Movie World and Dream World's pretty awesome.
See,
too.
I took you to
SeaWorld. SeaWorld's fine.
Yeah. Well,
SeaWorld's cool if you want to see dolphins and
I have SeaWorld over here. I took you to Disney.
SeaWorld's more for like animal shows. Like the dolphin show is awesome. But if you want rides and attractions and stuff, the best thing about SeaWorld is there used to be like a big the Bermuda Triangle. It was sick, but I think that's now the Leviathan.
Huh. That's interesting. Like we have SeaWorld here, and like for the most part, like yeah, SeaWorld does have shows over here, but they've focused a lot on their roller coasters recently. So like we have the Penguin roller coaster, and we have Manta, which is probably the coolest roller coaster I've ever been on because you lay down on it. But yeah, like we have a SeaWorld here. We don't have Movie World though. Like I have Universal and I have Disney, and they're both out of my price range now.
Yeah, the Bermuda Triangle was a themed indoor water ride at SeaWorld Gold Coast. In 2013, the ride was replaced by the Storm Coaster.
Huh.
Combines elements of a flume and splashdown elements of a log flume.
Huh. It's like Splash Mountain.
Yeah, basically.
Sorry,
It's
Tiana's Bayou for those people in Magic Kingdom nowadays, but
yeah,
that might be correct.
SeaWorld.
That's fun.
SeaWorld's fun. Movie World and Dream World are ones to go to.
So I'm gonna go to Dream World. Probably will make it there after Wicked Part 2 comes out. And then I will be able to appreciate it, and I will you can wear your green shirt and I'll wear my pink shirt, and people will be like, you're on the wrong set. All right, so overall, this movie is fantastic. It has a 90% on Rotten Tomatoes. It has a 73 on Metacritic. And before I give my rating on Wicked Part 1, if you want to be technical, what is your overall score on said movie?
So for me personally, with no absolute zero connection to The Wizard of Oz or the theater show, 3, like it was solid, fine, nothing bad. I think if you have some sort of nostalgic connection to either of those things, like the original movie and then the theater show and stuff, I could see this easily being a 4. Like I don't think it was a 5. Like it wasn't mind-blowing, oh shit, I need to go rewatch this immediately for me. Like it was 3. Solid, it was fine. I would have happily just watched it at home. I didn't need to go to the cinema to see it.
Okay. I don't know if I don't think I've given out a 5-star this year. If I have, I think I've maybe given out 1, but this is my 5-star for me. Just because I have that connection with the Broadway production, even though I've never seen it, like I love the soundtrack. I've been exposed to it since I was fucking 12, I think, 13 maybe. Am I that old now? I don't even remember. It was middle school days is when I was exposed to fucking Wicked. And so for me to see it come to life on screen and be done so well, that's probably why I give it a 5. Because like I said, there's been a lot of musicals that have been film adaptations, and some of them not so great. Some of them were pretty good. But yeah, this one knocked it out of the ballpark for me. It's probably one of the best movies I've seen all year. That's not a horror movie. Let me, explain that, because I watch a lot of stupid movies, but
I was gonna say I like the stark contrast between the things that you watch.
Yeah, it's just me sitting over here looking at the trailer for the Poonaverse or Pooverse, whatever it is, and we just watched Terrifier 3 not too long ago, and now I'm over here like, let me watch Wicked. I just want to be sparkly. Anyway, if you like the commentary booth, please remember to rate, review, and subscribe on all social media things and YouTube and all that other shit. You can follow me at Miss Karina Renee is my tag handle thing, if that's what it's called. I don't remember. But I got it right this time. And I don't remember Jamie's because he's got like 50 of them now, and he's even on that Blue Sky thing now too. So I'm not. So plug your shit.
On the majority of social media, it's at Jamie Apps Media and at Pario Magazine. On Blue Sky, just go to pariomagazine.com.au.
There you go.
We got it nice and easy over there. It's just
that's pretty.
Pop in the website, and all the other things will pop up. The website, my stuff, the trading cards, it all pops up if you just search the website.
There we go. So yeah, thanks for joining us on Wicked. Can't wait for part 2. We'll see you next year on that one.
The Commentary Booth is a fan-funded production of Jamie Apps Media. You can support the podcast alongside our magazine, Pario Magazine, on Patreon at patreon.com/Jamie Apps Media. The following people supported at the publisher level or higher, and you cannot fathom how incredibly appreciative we are for their support.